understand one of the priorities for you was to have a cabinet that was gender balanced. Why was that so important to you?
Because it's 2015.
Yes.
It's a problem that's becoming less of a problem.
What about like in North America?
Will like women get paid less?
Some people like are still fighting for like the wage gap over here, whereas in other places it's more like allow women to be like themselves and to own their own bodies.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea.
Good, for the most part.
I mean, it's 2015.
My name is Grantham. I am a sessional faculty member here in the Department of the Center for Global Studies at Huron University College. I am also a PhD candidate in the Department of Women's Studies and Feminist Research on main campus at Western University. My research interests, while varied, currently focus on the development of microenterprise programs for women in East Africa. Is gender inequality still present today? As a feminist researcher and a woman, I can say for certain that it is, and gender inequality manifests itself in different ways, but it does exist in all countries of the world.
I don't want to make it sound like, you know, the global south is backwards and more sexist when there's lots of sexist things going on in North America as well.
It will look different in Canada than elsewhere, but women are disproportionately poorly represented in all the sort of major global development indicators in terms of access to and graduation from different levels of education, access to healthcare services, living above the poverty line. All of these types of indicators we typically use to measure human development, women are disproportionately poorly represented within them. And so gender inequality is certainly something that exists in every country in the world today. In terms of gender inequality on campus, on Western, there's been a big push recently, I think, to recognize the prevalence of gender discrimination in ways that were previously kind of kept secret or undiscussed.
I know for one thing, I have many friends who don't feel comfortable walking outside at night.
So instances of sexual assault and violence against women who are students at universities, discrimination in terms of types of courses or programs that are deemed appropriate for women. But even as a faculty member, I see it in terms of if I'm taken as seriously compared to my male colleagues by my student. In course evaluations, I get a lot more comments about my appearance and my dress. While seemingly, not hugely detrimental, they're evidence to me of a much larger systemic problem related to discrimination against women within our own campuses that sometimes goes unrecognized. I am absolutely in favor of the gender-neutral cabinet and the push to diversify Canadian politics in areas aside from gender as well. Diversity in terms of ability, in terms of race.
The cabinet should be representative of the actual population of our country.
Make sure that the cabinet is doing their job well as that it wasn't just for the sake of balancing.
I find it so funny when people criticize the quota on the basis that people need to be elected based on merit, because I think what's important for people to know is that decisions to appoint cabinet ministers have never been based on merit. Discrimination based on gender or race or ability have always prevented or prohibited individuals from having access to these positions, and what the gender quota does is attempt to minimize or eliminate that discrimination, which in my opinion makes it more likely that these positions will be appointed on the basis of merit.
I think you're going to have sort of the same level of competence regardless if you take from, if you make it everyone equally black and white or everyone equally male and female.
And so to those people, I would ask them to think more critically, historically, about the way these decisions have been made, but also acknowledge that in addition to quotas, political quotas, there needs to be meaningful political will to change the culture of a country and of an organization and a cabinet. So this is a first step, but there is still a long way to go.
this question. Why do you think it took till 2015 to get this quota?
That's a great question. Why it took to 2015 to get this quota? I think it has to do with the underrepresentation of women in positions of power. It all comes back to power, and without people in positions of power to advocate on behalf of those who don't have it, this type of change doesn't come about. So this is a good step forward. It's a shame it took till now, but I'm happy to see it's going forward.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem.